Greetings acolytes, Ghost here, this time talking about Kroot. One of our companions in the upcoming CRPG Dark Heresy, Rakti, is one of them, and she makes an excellent point of entry for a beginner's video on this race. I'm sure we'll meet more Kroot in the game, as they already appeared in some development footage. As always, my aim in creating these videos is to introduce people to the setting, players who might be interested in the next Warhammer 40k CRPG, but feel intimidated by 50 years of lore. I also want to clarify that I'm not a lore beard, just a fan who wants to help more people experience a setting that I happen to like very much. Without further ado, let's dive in. The Kroot are a humanoid species of Xenos found throughout the galaxy due to their mercenary habits, although they are most often associated with the Tau Empire, since they consider the Tau their closest allies. Believed to be of avian origin, they're native of the planet Peck, situated in the Ultima Segmentum near the eastern fringe of the galaxy, relatively close to the planet Tau. They're tall and slender, but unassumingly strong and fast, since they have light and almost hollow bones, similar to birds. Their muscle fibers are denser than those of humans, which gives them a greater power-to-mass ratio than the average Imperial citizen. They possess rough skin with small barbed spines, and the elongated quills on their heads function as sensory apparatuses. Their skin color varies greatly, and they often wear tribal markings painted on it. They mature quickly, and by the age of 12 human years, they are already considered adults. They are capable of living more than 100 years, and their skin becomes increasingly pitted and leathery as time passes. Their brains are composed of a front and rear hemisphere, with the front one responsible for reasoning and memory, while the smaller one on the back appears linked to imagination and creativity. This is considered the reason for their technological backwardness. The quills on their heads are directly connected to their frontal lobe, making them extremely efficient at interpreting their surroundings. It is also believed that they possess a very acute sense of smell, that their milky white eyes can see in the infrared part of the spectrum, and that they can perceive the body heat generated by their prey. These traits may explain why they're considered excellent trackers and hunters. They also excrete an oily sweat that appears to preserve the body temperature, can cause poorly aimed blows to slide off without causing damage, and may release pheromones that allow them to mark territory, communicate with one another, and influence lower life forms. They're also incredibly adept at understanding and mimicking foreign words, since their own verbal communication is a mixture of clicks and whistles. A peculiarity of the Kroot, who are considered a relatively primitive society by the galaxy's major factions, is their capability to absorb desirable features from other races by eating their flesh. For example, Kroot who eat orcs become bigger and stronger, while eating a flying creature may grant them wings. This trait is central not only to their biology but also to their culture. They strongly believe that the spirit of a fallen warrior must be preserved, even if it belongs to another species, and they do so through funeral rites that include consuming the fallen. Kroot leaders are called Shapers, since they can recognize desirable and detrimental traits in defeated foes, and decide the direction the evolution of their kindred should take. Kroot tribes, clans, warbands, and mercenary groups are called kindred, and are guided by these Shapers. They are closely knit, and it's not uncommon for different kindreds located far from each other in the galaxy to develop different physical characteristics due to the different types of enemies they prey upon. They revere their ancestors, known as roots. This evolutionary drive is central to Kroot society, but it carries risks. Creatures that accompany Kroot warriors, such as the Krootoks or the Kroot hounds, are believed to be Kroot subspecies that reached an evolutionary dead end. They fed on creatures whose traits they sought, but the process also atrophied their intelligence. But there are exceptions. 3 species are absolutely forbidden to consume according to the Shapers: the Tyranids, which the Kroot find repulsive for their method of incorporating alien DNA, humans tainted by chaos, and the Tau, due to their role in saving Peck from an orc invasion. More on this later. Necrons are also forbidden since Kroot can't assimilate their living metal. But shaping isn't without errors, and incidents have occurred with Gene Stealers and Necron Scarabs. A strange encounter was recorded by the Silver Skulls chapter of the Adeptus Astartes, when they met Kroot who had assimilated Eldari DNA, granting them powerful psychic abilities that allowed them to cloak themselves in strong illusory disguises and generate additional illusions to confuse their enemies. Superficially, the Kroot appear to be a simple pre-industrial society, incapable even of powered flight. This isn't entirely true, since millennia ago an orc rock crash-landed on Peck, and the Kroot fed on the survivors. This event led them to build their first city around the wreckage, and to instinctively understand how to use the orc equipment found on board, similar to how orcs themselves do. In a few thousand years, they used orc technology to build 5 primary cities, and to develop mining and factory farming. They even managed to build warp-capable spacecraft, the War Spheres, and were able to colonize several worlds near Peck. Eventually, the Kroot encountered orcs again, and lost several battles against them. By the 38th millennium, the orcs had occupied all former Kroot planets, including Peck. At the same time, the Tau initiated their first great expansion and began pushing their exploration and conquest beyond their home world. The Tau felt compelled to help the Kroot repel the orc invasion, and a strong alliance was formed. Following the liberation of Peck, the great shaper Angkor Prok swore allegiance to the Tau Empire and declared a return to the old ways. Peck wouldn't be reurbanized. Reconquering the Kroot planets is now known as the War in the Place of Union, signifying the alliance formed between them and the Tau. The Kroot went out into the galaxy as mercenaries, and searched for new genetic material to absorb, most often accompanying the Tau. They're happy to fight for the Tau's greater good as long as they're paid sufficiently, and their pay is in flesh. After a period of time, Kroot returned to Peck to share the new DNA strands they've acquired, helping the general welfare of the entire Kroot race. After the return to primal traditions, the Kroot kept only their war spheres for space travel and retained little weaponry. Their rifles resemble the ancient fighting staff of their ancestors, with blades fitted on the stock and barrel for frequent melee combat they engage in. The Kroot gun is a larger version of the rifle, mounted on the back of a Krootox, one of the subspecies, a giant ape-like creature that's lost its intellect. They also use other almost primitive weapons, and it's not unusual to see Kroot fighting alongside Krootox, Kroothounds, or even the gargantuan Gnarloks, combining their primeval ways of warfare with limited technology given by the Tau or looted from other species. They also repurpose splinter pistols, bolt pistols, sluggas, power weapons, and similar gear. They came into contact with the Imperium during the Damocles Crusade in the eastern fringes during the late 41st millennium. On the world of Silkel, the 17th Regiment of the Brimlock Dragoons fought Kroot carnivores and was almost wiped out. The intervention on the sides of the Emperor's Space Marines proved crucial, and the Kroot forces withdrew, deeming the enemy's strength too great for direct confrontation. This sums up my overview of the Kroot race. Thank you so much for watching. I hope it helps ease you into the Warhammer 40k lore for Dark Heresy, which can be intimidating since Games Workshop is 50 years old, and innumerable codexes, books and magazine articles have been written on almost everything. Apologies for being a little congested here, that's why I sound different and muddier. I don't know how long it'll take to pass, so new videos are coming congested or not. I won't wait any longer. Please activate the purity seals below and subscribe to this archive of beginner's guides to prepare for fully enjoying Dark Heresy. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.